little wieners, and welcome back to another little episode of Warframes. Don't mind this, it's my microphone. I don't know where to put it, but I need to talk deep into your ear holes. But if I sit over here and say hi, you can't hear me properly. I don't think. What the? Huh? What am I supposed to do with this? It's in my way. It literally feels like I'm headbutting the goddamn thing. Anyway, let's pretend this has always been going on. I just thought I would try and engage with my audience a little bit more. You can see my face and I can look deep into your eyeballs and ask you to like, comment and or sub on this channel. If this video or any of my other content tickles your fancy, you could tickle me in return. My like, comment and sub button, obviously. But today, as you can see on the screen, we are today looking at Rhino, and there is a reason for that. And why are we looking at Rhino today, you may be asking? Because there's lots of reasons, bear with me. I know there's a massive update coming out, but that is one of the main reasons. Not everybody is going to have access to all of the stuff coming out in the update, and this video will be around for a while, and if people come to the game and want to play as Rhino, they might want to work towards this build, and also where to get him, how to build him, etc. And also Hammy Hamdelf, our beloved Hammy Hamdelf, on our Discord, Coffee Barbarian. Link is in the channel. And also he's a YouTube member. He asked for a Rhino build. And also the Rhino heirloom just came out. So, you know, we can show off our heirloom skin. We love a bit of fashion frame over here, right? So anyway, I've blathered on long enough, but I just want to say thank you to Hammy Hamdelf. You kind of inspired me to make this video. There will be stuff coming out about the update, okay? I'm going to get on it. Busy woman, okay? So just bear with me. Anyway, you don't have to look at my face for the whole video, so stick with me. And I've chaptered it up, so like, give me a like for that. Okay, let's get into it. So in this video, we are going to be looking at a very specific tanky build, but we'll build up to it slowly, excuse the pun. But if you want to get your hands on Rhino, he's very early on in the game. You can get him from the Fossa Assassination on Venus. If you're struggling with it or the public squads aren't quite doing it for you, please feel free to come and join the Discord and we can advise or help. And as you can see, the higher level stuff you have, the easier this mission is, obviously. But when you're new to the game and you've got all the early stuff, sometimes it can feel a bit tricky, and that's absolutely fine. But the Rhino component blueprints will drop specifically from this mission. And his main blueprint you'll have to buy for credits from the market, which we'll take a look at in a moment, because that's another option on how to get your hands on Rhino. And obviously, because it's an RNG game, you may not get the systems, chassis and neuroptics to drop in that order. You may end up with 5 systems, 1 chassis and no neuroptics. So good luck, I believe in you, champ. Keep going. Anyway, you can also buy Rhino from the market for 375 plat. I don't recommend that because he's so easy to get hold of at the beginning of the game. There's also a Wrecking Rhino pack you can see there for more plat, a couple of weapons included, etc. But you can get his main blueprint for 35,000 credits from the market, and once you've got those 3 component blueprints built, you can then build him. And they've said that in the update on the 19th of March, he will be reduced from a 72-hour build for his main blueprint, once you've built the component ones, to a 24-hour build. And that is because they're trying to make new player experiences a little easier. And he's one of the first Warframes you can get hold of playing missions. So I think that's a really good improvement for the new player. And you can get your hands on Rhino a bit quicker. So before we look at building Rhino, let's look at the primed variant. He is vaulted technically. At the moment he's available via Prime Resurgence. We'll take a look at that in a second. Or you can buy Rhino Prime sets or pieces that you're missing from other players. And it's a very reasonable, as I record this, 55 to 60 plat for a set, a Rhino Prime set. Or if you've got some ire that you will earn doing missions in the game, that little blue teardrop thing, you can come to Vazia at Maru's Bazaar and buy Rhino relics to crack open. Or if you're feeling very flush, you can buy yourself some Regal Ire. You can only buy that with actual real life money, and buy yourself the Rhino and Ember pack or the Rhino pack or whatever you want. These are the primed variants and you get other goodies with them, but it does, in my view, cost a lot of real life money. So I tend to grind out the ire, buy the relics, crack them and see what we can get. And if you're really clever, you'll buy a ton of the relics for the ire that you're earning, save those pieces, because when they are vaulted again from the Prime Resurgence, they'll become rarer over time and in more demand, which means if you do get the rare pieces and you've already got them, you can sell them for a bit of plat for yourself. And let's take a quick look at Rhino, not the Rhino Prime variant, in the Foundry. Nothing too special to build him. The only thing I can see that you might struggle to get hold of at the beginning of the game is some plastids, but those are available on Cetus, Plains of Eidolon bounties and or Valis Fortuna bounties. If not, if you've opened up Saturn, go there and you'll get plastids. If you hover over the planets, it should tell you what resources you can get from them, and it'll also tell you in here where you can get those components from. Once you are ready to build them, they cost 15,000 credits each, and at the moment 12 hours. I don't know if that will be reduced, and then once they're built and you've claimed them, it'll take a further 72 hours at the point of recording this to build Rhino, but I'm hoping by the time you see this video it's actually only going to take 24 hours, so that's awesome. Think it'll always be 50 plat to rush a main Warframe blueprint, but you know, if you can be patient, be patient. Now on to Rhino's fashion. And a good rule of thumb is if a Warframe is popular, has been out for a long time, they're going to have a lot of skins. And this is Rhino's base skin. That was his base colour that you saw at first. Now I'm just zooming through randomised colours and I'm going to show you kind of all the different skins that are available to him. There are a lot because he's been around for a long time. And you can get fancy with them. You can spend a lot of money and plat on it. You don't have to, as long as you're happy with what you've got. That's all that matters because it's gaming and it should be fun. But look, he's got a ton of skins, ton of accessories. We've now got the heirloom skin, which is very shiny and pretty. And he's also got this kind of scarab beetle skin because there is such thing as a rhinoceros beetle, if you didn't know. And it is a subfamily of the scarab beetle. So I think that's why they went with that. So he's got this kind of beetle armor going on, which I kind of love that vibe, and it does make him look and feel like a tank. And with the build that I'm about to show you, he gets even tankier. So what do you think of Rhino's skins? I put a randomized color on here and just, you know, went to town on them, but look at them, aren't they shiny? You can put any colors that you've got hold of in here. And what I really like about Warframe is that they allow you to preview it and have a really good look before you buy. And here you go, this is actually the Void Shell skin, and this is my colour scheme. I know, I went glitzy and glamoury. Why not? You know, why not shine? I mean, he's literally glittering like a jewel. Oh, I love this colour scheme. I love the Void Shell. And here's the new heirloom. I haven't got his horn Signa thingamajigger on his head at this point. This is a Dex skin, but as you can see, you can toggle on the prime details. Don't know if that's specific to Dex skins, but I love them. And here are some randomised heirloom colours. What are we thinking, guys? What are we thinking about Rhino skins? There are so many to choose from. And let's have a quick look at his abilities. His passive, you emit a shockwave dealing 100 damage after landing from a great height. It just kind of goes boom. And Rhino's first ability, nice, short to the point, Rhino Charge. He charges towards the target, clobbering anything in his path and goring his victims. And this has an augment mod being Ironclad Charge. Rhino Charge augment, each enemy hit increases Rhino's armor rating by 50% for 10 seconds. When you say this boy is tanky, like, he is just built to be a pure tank. And his second ability, Iron Skin, he hardens his skin, insulating himself from all damage and gaining Overguard. Ah, such a tank. And this also has an augment mod. I know, I'm as surprised as you are, and it's called Iron Shrapnel. Recasting Iron Skin will cause it to detonate, dealing 100% of its remaining health as puncture damage and knocking down enemies. How cool is that? All these augment mods will be available from these syndicates that you can see for around 25,000 of their standing. Their third ability for Rhino, Raw, grants all nearby Warframes increased damage for a short duration, also has an augment. And Raw is the ability that will be Helminth off Rhino when you feed him to your beloved Helminth. And the augment, Piercing Raw, Raw gains a plus 40% range. Enemies within 25 meters are knocked down and suffer 5 stacks of puncture status. And this also means that your range is obviously going to pick up on your allies and give them that damage buff. And yes, if you put Raw onto another Warframe, you can use this augment mod on that Warframe's build. And his fourth and final ability, he stomps, he does the Rhino stomps. He stomps with force sufficient enough to disrupt time, tumbling enemies around him in stasis. And obviously, if you put range and duration on this, it'll last longer. So you're kind of slowing the enemies down, putting them in the air so that you can just like hang them there and shoot them and kill them. And altogether now, this also has an augment mod, reinforcing stomp. Iron skin health is replenished by 4% for each enemy affected by your Rhino stomp. So your second ability will replenish itself. Now, this actually is the ability that I Helminthed off, and this was based on a build that I found on Overframe, which I'm going to go over. I've tried a couple of different versions of this Overframe build, but the main Overframe build that we were given is pretty damn tanky. So, on to the mod configuration. Now, there are many iterations of builds for Rhino and Rhino Prime, etc. This is just one of them. This is me and my work in progress towards getting to Ninjase's Overframe Parasitic Armour build. If you type that into your web browser, it'll pop up. This is not it. This is partly it. With this build, this is what I was talking to Hammy, our beloved Hamdalf, in the Discord about. I hadn't quite got to the part where I knew that I could max out or get as much Overguard as possible. With this build that you see on the screen that I was working on, I got around 90,000 Overguard maximum at one point, but it was generally around 40 to 60,000 Overguard with this build. However, I carried on working on it, and I then used Ninjase's build, and I'm going to tell you now, we made the tank super tanky. It's amazing, and he goes into more detail on Overframe. Now, the star of the show is the Parasitic Armour ability, and we've put that onto our fourth. So we've switched out the Rhino Stomp, and we're now using a different ability. This ability does not come from any other Warframes in the game. It comes specifically from your Helminth. So how do we get it? You're going to need a Helminth, and if you don't have a Helminth, you need to rank up at the Necrolisk with the Entrati family, and then eventually you can buy the Helminth segment for 15,000 standing at the Necrolisk from Sun. This is once you've ranked up a couple of times here. And then you can buy a further Invigoration segment here as well, which is another thing entirely. I've done a whole Helminth video, and yeah, there's a lot of extras the Helminth can give you and enhance your gameplay. So once you've got this Helminth segment, you have to build it. As you can see, there are components you're going to need to get from the Necrolisk to build it in your foundry. And then once you've obtained it from your foundry, a highlighted yellow marker will appear in your base of operations, whether it's your orbiter or wherever you're based, and you have to go and install it, and then you'll have access to your Helminth. And once you have your basic Helminth, it's there really to eat your Warframes, the original ones, not the primed versions, and take off one of their abilities for you. However, the Helminth also comes with abilities that aren't linked to Warframes. You can just put them on your other Warframes. And to get to Parasitic Armour, you must level up your Helminth by feeding it and using it and Helminthing Warframes into it. And once you get to your 11th Metamorphosis, you will unlock the Parasitic Armour ability. Now, there are a ton of other abilities in here that the Helminth has for you, which come in so useful. Perspicacity, for one, is a really useful ability. Again, doesn't come off a Warframe, it just comes with the Helminth once you've ranked it up. And once you've got to that 11th ranking up, you will unlock Parasitic Armour. So get your Helminth, and it's kind of encouraging you basically to get the primed version and then submit your original Warframe of that primed version to the Helminth. It basically eats it. It takes 24 hours to nom your Warframe up, and then it keeps one of its abilities. And you don't get to choose that ability. It is a set ability that comes off each Warframe, but that ability can then be put onto another Warframe build. And Roar happens to be the one that comes off Rhino, and Roar is a really useful ability to pop onto other builds and other Warframes, among a vast ocean of other options. So I won't get too bogged down in exactly how the Helminth works, but let's say you've got 3 configurations. You could put Parasitic Armour on your 3 configurations, A, B, and C, your mod configurations, but put it in a different ability slot each time. You can't switch out more than one ability on each configuration. So I'd already had Parasitic Armour on my 4th ability on my B config, so I had to remove it in order to put it back on to B plus C. I wanted it in more than one configuration on this particular video, so I had to remove it. And you know, putting Warframe abilities onto Warframes costs resources, so you have to feed your Helminth. I've called mine Bungle. Anybody know what that's from? Anyway, so I've put Parasitic Armour onto, as you can see, it says infused in B and C. And before I show you how to use all of this stuff in the right order, here is Ninjase's almost finished build on my part. As you can see, Power Drift still isn't fully fused, so I still have to former it up. I accidentally put the wrong former in where Iron Shrapnel is, but it's fine, it's working for now. So I'll just former up the Exilus slot or something like that, and it'll all be fine. As you can see, I actually have an Umbral former in Rhino as well, Rhino Prime, because that's how much I like him. Okay, now for the good bit, we're going to go and take a look at this Overguard in action. And for reference, I went to the next Exterminate on Steel Path solo, didn't do the bounty or incursions for this footage, but I did do them. I did a ton of missions using these builds, even when I was ranking up. Oh my god, and it was fine. And I've brought my Helios Prime companion with the Verglass Prime. I've got my Tenet Glaxian. I've got my Latum to Incarnate, and I think I brought Kume's melee. I don't really use melee much. Anyway, so what I want to show you first is using the abilities to a degree of benefit to us. We are popping Parasitic Armour first, and then I popped Iron Skin, and as you can see, we got a good amount of Overguard. It was 49,876. Not too shabby, but oh boy, can we get higher if we do it in the right order. Now remember, we've got both of those augment mods in, I believe Ironclad Charge and the one for the Iron Skin augment. So without the augment for the Iron Skin, once you've popped your second ability, you can't unpop it. It stays there until your Iron Skin runs out by being attacked by enemies. But with the augment, it means you can pop it, disperse it, and then do it again, which is really useful when you're trying to get your Overguard up, because you might not have it as high as you want it. And if you use the abilities in the right order and you've got the augment mods in, you're going to get a good amount. So let's skip to the good bit, shall we? Okay, so pay attention to the top right of the screen for a moment. We have normal shields and health. We've got no abilities running just yet. I just popped Parasitic Armour, and I also did an Ironclad Charge, a Rhino Charge, but the Ironclad Charge augment kicked in. It was running for 12 seconds. And then I popped Rhino's Iron Skin ability, which is the second one. And as you can see, we got over 370,000 Overguard. And I'm telling you, that is small potatoes in this whole big scheme of things. If you can get his base armor up and get a bigger group of enemies, oh my goodness, people have been hitting the millions. And I mean millions. They're like 3 to 4 million, some of these. So how does it work? Right. The synergy, as they refer to it as. So Parasitic Armour ability converts your total shields into armor, which is why you pop it first. The Ironclad Charge augment in your first ability, Rhino's Charge, increases armor based on the number of enemies that you can hit during that charge. And then your Iron Skin, your second ability, uses armor, your base armor, and ability strength to determine its health pool when you pop it. And that's what turns everything into this massive amount of Overguard. So how it works is basically use Parasitic Armour to convert your shields to armor. Then you use your Rhino Charge with your Ironclad Charge augment fitted to further increase that armor pool. And then you cast the second ability. So you cast 4, or wherever you put your Parasitic Armour, preferably 4, 1, 2. And then you end up with a very high Iron Skin health value, as they call it. And you can maximize this effect by maximizing your shield capacity and ability strength. You can use Ironclad Charge on multiple enemies to stack the armor bonus. And you can cast Iron Skin after the armor bonus when Ironclad Charge is applied. And I'm telling you, because it's multiplicative, it just creates massive amounts of Overguard. And there are other ways that you can boost it up. And as I mentioned, I don't have any Archon Shards in this build. So if you use the Azure Archon Shards, specifically Tower Forged, the blue ones, you can further choose to boost your shields and or armor, or both, using those blue shards. That's exactly what I'm about to start working on. Ability strength is a key factor in determining the final Iron Skin health value. So the higher your ability strength is, the more Overguard you're going to end up with. And the damage that you take during the initial invulnerability window of Iron Skin is added to those over shields. So what do we take from this? We need to work on our base stat armor and shields and just go to town on it. But like, I know you can get it into the millions. I've literally seen it, but not for on my build. But I was blown away by 380,000 Overguard. I mean, with my Dante build, I think the most I've ever got is like 90k maybe, possibly, and I thought that was pretty damn good. But to see those numbers pop up at the top, and obviously, yes, you can't give it to your allies like Dante can. That's fine, you know, if you're soloing, it's great, though. It doesn't give it to your companion, but it gives it to you. And as long as you're still standing, that's all that matters, right? My Helios has gone down, as you can see. But it's all good. And as you can see, because of the augment mod on the Iron Skin, we can actually unpop Iron Skin. So there's this whole thing with Iron Skin that once you've popped it without the augment mod, it stays up until it runs out, until you're attacked enough times for it to deplete. But with this build, you kind of want to keep popping it. You kind of repel the enemies, blow them up. And then if you find a bigger pool of enemies, you know, you can redo this whole thing with your Parasitic Armour, your first ability, Rhino Charge, and then the second ability again, and just keep popping it until you get a really good amount. And as you can see, my Overguard's already diminishing. I think I repopped it and didn't do it in the right order or something like that. But yeah, I'll be honest, my mind was blown when I saw 380,000 Overguard. And I was just like, and what with the raw as well, the raw ability with Rhino that just buffs your damage, you're fine, you know. And I'm not an expert, like I said, in modding. These aren't my full mod configurations, borrowed from someone else as always. But like when it comes to weapons, I'm pretty sure there's a better weapon pool that you could use with this build as well. Ninjase also mentions mecha mods, but they're a lot more hard work to get the benefits out of them. But there's also possibilities like having a mecha build for your Rhino plus your companion. Go over to Overframe and have a little read up of his notes. He's a brilliant Overframer, a brilliant modder. And what I really like is he always suggests that there are things you can switch out depending on your gameplay style, or if something's not working for you, try this, try that. And I really do love his builds. And this one, honestly, it's just blown my mind. And I still need to work on it. And I still need to add blue Archon shards at least to this Rhino build and see just how high I can get this Overguard to go. And there you go, my darlings. I'm not going to keep showing you footage. I got so much footage, by the way, of Rhino in various places, but that was the best Overguard I could get, so I just wanted to show you that. Let me know what you think of it. I know it's a lot of work to get to this point in the game, but that's the whole point, and I hope that it inspires you. Also, the names that you're seeing on the screen are my beloved, so generous, so kind, and so supportive YouTube members. There are other people that I would love to thank, obviously, but they're all in my Discord and we'd be here all day. But I just want to say thank you to these people for just endless support that they've given this channel. And as I record, we are like 6 or 7 subs away from 5,000 subscribers, and it's literally blowing my mind. So I'm trying to improve things. I want to show you my face and involve myself a little bit more with the videos, especially the scarier ones. I'm just starting a Days Gone playthrough, and halfway through that you're going to start seeing my face in the corner, and honestly, watching myself gaming has been quite humbling. It's been a bit of an eye-opener, I'll be honest. Anyway, enjoy that. I hope you do. In the meantime, thank you so much for being here. I really do hope to see you again in the next one, no matter what it may be. But in the meantime, you take care now, and goodbye.